Just heading to the train. Gonna go into the city. Got some demos planned for this week. Williams-Sonoma Columbus Circle later on in the week, and I'm gonna try and get to Bloomingdale's again. I feel like having pasta for dinner tonight. Growing up, it used to be Sunday gravy every Sunday. The meatballs, the sausage, the tomato sauce. It's delicious, but now it's really special occasion stuff. You kind of get burned out on having the same thing all the time. Now, when I have pasta, I like to do some different stuff. Have some nice wild mushroom and truffle ravioli waiting for me. We're gonna do some really good stuff with that. But first, let's get work out of the way. On the menu this episode, we have a nice radicchio and arugula salad with some fall flavors. So apple and roasted acorn squash. The entree, that wild mushroom and truffle ravioli with a little butter sauce and some toasted pistachio, rosemary. It's gonna be good. And for dessert, some macerated blueberries with a lemon zabayon and some ladyfingers for crunch. First things first, let's macerate those blueberries.
Macerating the blueberries will soften their texture and release their juices. For 6 ounces of blueberries, we're going to go in with the juice of half a lemon, followed by a 1/4 cup of superfine sugar. Stir to combine, cover, and set aside.
Let's put this salad together.
There are a few different components to this salad, so we're going to start by roasting off our acorn squash. Cut both the ends off so we can stand it up, and then cut in half, like so, exposing the seeds. You can save the seeds or you can discard them. I'm going to discard them today, so you can use your clean hand, or you can do the more genteel way with a spoon. Slice downward into relatively even pieces, and coat with extra virgin olive oil. Flip them over. Now the other side. And we'll season with some salt, pepper medley, some red chili flake for a little bit of pop, and then flip them over and do the other side as well. Roast off at 425 degrees for about 20 minutes to a half hour, or until you can insert a paring knife and it comes out clean. Next up, we're going to render off our pancetta fat and toast off our pumpkin seeds. Both processes happen best in cold, dry skillets. Add in about 4 ounces of pancetta and about a cup of pumpkin seeds, just to be on the safe side. Heat them over medium. Keep those pumpkin seeds moving. You don't want them to burn. They'll be a nice golden nutty brown in about 10 minutes or so. The pancetta is going to take a little bit longer, like about 15 to 20 minutes. It's a slow process to render all that fat and get it nice and crispy. And you can do it with 2 hands if you're feeling fancy. Remove the seeds from the heat and let cool. Drain off the pancetta bits, and let's get to work on the dressing. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar goes into our measuring cup here, followed by some Dijon mustard. That'll help emulsify the dressing. About a teaspoon. Let's mix that on up. Get a nice little mixy mix. Add in a touch of salt. Pancetta has salt in it, so we don't want to go too heavy with that. Some pepper medley. And then our warm pancetta fat, we're just going to stream that on in. If you don't want to do this, this is okay. You can just sub it on out and put in some extra virgin olive oil instead, but add a little extra bump in salt. Give it a little taste. See if we're good. We're good. Time to deal with the raw ingredients and put this salad together. We're using half this head of radicchio, so we're going to cut in half, again in quarters, and then remove the core. Finely shred, almost like a confetti. Very nice. Focus on your knife technique there. And into the bowl it goes, followed by a heavy pinch of baby arugula, maybe about a half a cup or so. Next up, we're going to cut down this Envy apple. Envy is a New Zealand apple similar to a Gala. You can certainly use that if you like. I'm using about half or so. Salad assemble. Some nicely torn acorn squash, rustico, followed by our apple slices. Think I can deal in Vegas? A little bit of salt and pepper medley to taste. And go around the bowl with our vinaigrette so we don't overdress the salad. And then in with our hands. You certainly can use spoons or forks if you like, but as you can see, I like to use my hands. Get them nice and coated evenly, and we're ready to plate. A little bit of extra. An apple slice. Some pepitas for crunch. Some pancetta. Yum.
Main course time, wild mushroom truffle ravioli. Yum!
Fill your stock pot about 3/4 of the way up with water. Don't add the salt at this point because you'll actually scar the bottom of your pot. Transfer that to your stove. I have an ultra burner, so I'm going to use that one, but if you don't, put it on your biggest burner, lit it up, and turn it on to medium-high, and bring it to a boil. Pop another skillet on your stove because we're toasting some nuts. In this case, about a cup of pistachios. You certainly can shell them if you want. I don't. Pistachios can burn really easily, so let's keep the pan moving while we're toasting them for about 5 to 7 minutes or until golden brown and nutty. Those look good. Next up, we're going to strip this sprig of rosemary. That'll add a nice little pleasant pine flavor to this dish. And this can be a little stubborn, so just keep picking and be vigilant until you get the amount you want. That looks good. So we're going to gather it on up and finely chop this rosemary. Rosemary in your teeth just is not pleasant at all, so we want to gather it on up and really drive through with our shoulder and really finely chop it. Add in our pistachios and finely chop those as well. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we definitely don't want huge pieces of anything in this. Just gather it on up. That looks pretty good. Time to make the sauce. In a large skillet, melt 1 stick of unsalted butter over medium heat. You want to make sure it's a large skillet because we are going to toss the pasta in there once it's cooked. Get it nice and foamy and let those milk solids cook out. Looks like our water's come to a boil. Now is the time to salt it. Very nice. And let's get the star of the show. The mushroom truffle ravioli. Yum. You can certainly sub in butternut squash, pumpkin, plain cheese, mushroom, lobster. All would be really nice here. Break them up and bring to a boil. Since they're fresh pasta, they won't take more than 2 to 3 minutes or until they float. Transfer the cooked ravioli into the melted butter. And we want to be quick about it because we don't want those ravioli to overcook. Spread them out. Add in our rosemary and pistachio. We want to be generous with it. Sprinkle it on in. And even with it as well. Give it a shake. Let them toast up. Let everything kind of get married together. Get nice and happy. Flip them on over. Looks good. Time to plate. Our ravioli go down. I'm going to go with 3 for the portion here, but you certainly can have more if you like. Add a little bit more of the pistachio rosemary butter sauce and some gorgonzola cheese. Bon appetit. Let's make that zabayon. Fill a pot with about 2 inches of water and bring to a simmer. In the meantime, we're going to separate 7 egg yolks. I'm using the clean hand method, but you certainly can use the shell method if you like. Next up, half a cup of granulated sugar goes into the bowl, followed by the zest of 1 lemon. Pop the microplane on, cross, flip, keep going till you have the whole thing. Bang the excess off. And the secret ingredient, lavender extract paste. It's going to add a nice floral note, about a teaspoon. Whisk to combine with some elbow grease. And then pop the bowl onto the simmering water and cook till light yellow and the sugar's dissolved, about 2 to 3 minutes. This is going to be a tight zabayon similar to a lemon curd, so we're going to add a 1/4 cup of fresh squeezed lemon juice. If you want a thinner consistency, you can add up to a cup of liquid. Stream that into your egg yolk and sugar mixture. Gotta keep that whisk going. Nice. And keep whisking. And keep whisking for about 8 to 10 minutes until it tightens up like that. That's a good spot. Time to plate. A glass bowl. Our macerated blueberries. Whatever juice comes, let it. That's fine. That's going to add a nice little sweetness and extra blueberry flavor. Very good. Now our zabayon. Just let it fall. Spread it out to cover those berries. Now some ladyfingers for crunch. You can crumble them up if you like on top. I'm just going to stick them here on the side. Some fresh basil. Nice. Don't want to whisk? Here's an easier way to make that zabayon. If you have a high-power blender like a Vitamix or a Breville Super Cube, place all ingredients in the blender jar and cook on 1.5 soup settings or on high for 5 to 7 minutes until thick, creamy, and steamy. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. As always, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, same name as you eat it, and follow me on Facebook, same name as you eat it. If you're in the neighborhood, come see me. I'm doing live culinary demos at Williams-Sonoma Columbus Circle or Bloomingdale's 59th Street. Follow my Instagram, you'll get my schedule, and we can hang out a little bit. If you would like to be an executive producer of As You Eat It, follow the Patreon link, make a contribution, and I will be eternally grateful. As always, cook how you want to cook, eat how you want to eat, change it up how you want to change it up. Eat as you eat it. Now, if you'll excuse me, the dinner's getting cold.